Behind the veil evil. Have you ever stood before a place so steeped in legend, the air itself feels thicker just breathing it? Tonight, I bring you to the edge of the old Balewick Manor, half swallowed by swirling mist, its jagged turrets looming like skeletal fingers searching the night sky. Time forgot this place, a shrine to evil so deep, even the crows wouldn't roost in its chimneys. And as I stood by the cracked iron gates, the wind itself whispered local folk tales through the darkness. None return from Balewick's doors once the blood moon rises. Somewhere in that darkness, I could swear I heard the tinkling laughter of a little girl, sharp as splintered glass. Beneath my feet, the gravel crunched, a reminder perhaps that our story was about to begin. They say the Balewick family once ruled here, their cruelty a stain even the earth couldn't hide. Villagers whispered that behind these locked doors, travelers and children alike vanished as the blood moon rose. Rituals ran red beneath the sky, flesh etched with runes, screams locked into the stones for all eternity. No righteous mob ever found justice here. Only one survivor, found naked and raving in the freezing fen, could speak. She took my brother beneath the veil, beneath the moon. The shadows would not let me go. We were four. Ilara, heart pounding in her chest. Marcus, her skeptic boyfriend. And then Lila and Theo, ghost hunters by night, desperate for proof of the beyond. The moment we crossed that corroded threshold, the house seemed to inhale, as if swallowing us whole. An icy oppression pressed into my lungs, the air thick with the scent of old blood, wet earth, and the faint tang of burnt hair. In the gloom, I caught sight of a child's toy, an eyeless doll, its mouth frozen in a silent scream, slumped beside a rusted lantern. Faded murals lined the entrance. Pale, robed figures gathering in torchlight, their eyes nothing but hollow shadows. One painting, though, chilled me. A crowned woman poised with a dagger above a baby, bloody runes carved into his tiny skin. Iron hooks jutted from beams, stained with something long dried to brown crusts. I watched as the O's flashlight caught on a rotten floorboard. Inside, grotesque sketches, humans split apart, entrails and bones arranged in cryptic patterns. Then, a music box, wrenched from the dust. It sprang open, its lullaby wailing off key into the shadows. Each note, I swear, was a warning to turn back. We should have left. But curiosity, or arrogance, forced us deeper still. Lila and I were separated in a twisted maze of corridors. The walls seemed to pulse beneath my palms, cold, alive. Paintings along the hallway, did they shift? Or was it the candlelight? It felt as if the faces inside them watched us, breathed with us. On the main staircase, Marcus suddenly paused. "I smell burning hair," he whispered. But there was nothing, only another candle's dying gasp, darkness closing in tighter. You don't stumble across books like this by accident. After prying open a heavy hidden door, we found it. A hulking tome, its cover made from cracked, leathery human flesh. When Ilara pried it open, it growled. A hungry sound. The pages twitched as if alive. On the cover, scrawled in Latin, Liber ob tenebratio, the Book of Veiled Darkness. We read its disturbing contents by trembling candlelight. Ritual circles drawn in blood. Journal entries descending into madness. To summon those who dwell beneath the veil, innocent blood must be spilled as the moon dies. To bind the darkness, carve the sigil. But beware, for the shadows will fight back. There is no control, only false hope. Overcome the enemy, consume its corpse. To destroy the vessel, burn it with the betrayer's bones. Never trust the voices. My skin crawled as I heard those words spoken aloud. Then the real horrors began. As the storm battered the house, Ilara's eyes glazed over. Her voice low as thunder shook the walls. I saw what she saw, torch-lit dungeons, a knife sawing through flesh, blood pooling on marble, Latin chants echoing. Somewhere, a child's scream cut through the vision. Don't do it. Ilara looked at her own hands, each finger caked in blood, and realized the dagger she held could not be released. Lightning struck the manor's battered windows. briefly illuminating ghostly faces pressed to the glass. I felt the corridor shift under my feet. Doors slid sideways, connecting to rooms that hadn't been there a moment before. The main doorway thundered shut, sealing us in. Theo descended into obsession, scratching ritual diagrams into the wood. Cassie, myself, fought to keep panic at bay as the house pressed closer still. Marcus wandered, scratching his own skin as if something crept beneath. The desperation led us to one terrible solution: a seance. Circle complete, book at the center, Marcus's hand holding a swaying pendulum. Almost immediately, our breath misted, the room frosting over. Windows mottled with fracturing ice, invisible hands clawed at my shoulder. Somewhere, a clock began to tick backward, and below us, shadows twisted. The house unraveled us, one by one, Ilara's ordeal. She strayed through endless mirrors. In each reflection, her face transformed into that same cruel priestess. Guided by invisible hands, her reflection slit her throat, but Ilara didn't die. Instead, she watched herself fade into nothing. Marcus's trial. A monstrous shadow crawled up Marcus's spine, pinning him against the floor. Paralyzed, he endured scene after scene, every cruelty he'd ever committed or fantasized, forced upon him in grotesque replay. Ancient voices whispered in his ear, "You're one of us now. You belong here." His skin blistered, invisible insects burrowing deep. He crawled, there, through a narrowing tunnel, walls lined with rotten teeth, laughter pulsing all around. Isla's nightmare, alone in a playroom bathed in blood-red light, haunted dolls twisted their heads to follow her every move. Dead hands reached through torn silk, smearing crimson on her arms. Ghosts with sewn-shut mouths dragged her to the ritual chamber, their curses heavy and cold. Theo's torment. Theo's senses betrayed him with every breath, burnt hair, bile and ash on his tongue. Spectral hands clawed at his flesh, forcing him into seizures. He took up a rusty blade, carving the book's runes into his skin, desperate to match the marks and stave off the final possession. A devilish voice, sometimes his, sometimes the house's, promised nothing but damnation. Somehow, battered and hollow, we found each other. At the manor's heart, the ritual chamber. An altar caked in iron-red filth supported a jewel-encrusted jar, pulsing with sickly emerald light. Pages of the cursed book fluttered in a windless room. A monstrous thing. Faces, claws, and teeth swirled into being from the boiling shadows. We recited the ritual, trusting only the instructions, even as pieces of our memories bled away. Home movies flickered on the walls, childhood joys warped into terror, each one of us reliving our roles as both victim and villain for just a moment longer. At last, Ilara drew a sigil with her own blood, smashing the jar upon the altar. The world howled. Shards hovered, spirits burst out, and the manor itself began to shudder and break. Freed souls screamed toward the sky. The monstrous entity thrashed, bellowing, then slowly retreated. But I knew it was not gone. Dawn's gray light crept through the wreckage. We, what was left of us, stumbled out, silent, each haunted by horrors we could hardly name. Our memories, fractured as the house, remained locked in its walls, chuckling through the cracks as we passed through the ruined gates. On the open book's final page, a single warning. Those who call may dismiss, but the veil remembers. Many years later, beneath the same blood-red moon, the gates of Balewick Creek open once more. Another lost soul, drawn by rumors and a whisper just beyond hearing, dares to cross the threshold. Inside, the shadows await, and the cursed book flickers, hungry to begin the nightmare again. Let this story be your warning. The evil behind the veil is never truly gone. It simply waits for the next.